From a daily production of about 800 loaves of bread in 1957, when Broadway's Bakery started, the family business has matured to a household name. The business now prides itself over a daily capacity of 240 loaves of bread from 4 plants. But this was as a result of meticulous succession planning and willpower.
For us, it was a very easy way because my father and his brothers, they all retired in 2000 altogether. So that they gave the business to us three cousins to say that now you manage it, you've been with us for a long time, we are getting old. And so it was very good transition for us. We have managed well in the last 10, 13 years we have been together, all the cousins, we have a lot of understanding. We sit down, we agree to do this, this and this. Of course, because the business is only 2 or 3 businesses which we are running. The challenge is now for us to hand it over to our children, because our children are still growing up. I mean, they are still in university, 2 of them. One is still in primary school. So those are the challenges, and hopefully we would, unless they come and sit with us, join us, work with us for at least 4, 5, 6 years, they wouldn't understand what we are doing. It's very difficult. So as a family, it's still a long time before we can even hand it over to them. And maybe another 10 years, because that's the time they might be into our shoes to say that now they can really control those businesses and take it over.
In the nearly 6 decades of operation, the business has witnessed many changes in the eating habits of Kenyans and price fluctuation of raw products. A bag of 90 kgs of wheat now fetches 5,000 shillings, a 67% markup that has pushed up the cost of bread.
We have seen that, yes, even in our own bakery at our own level, the quantity has stagnated because there's too much competition. First of all, every town, every place there is a bakery. Every household is even making bread. We have got small ladies who are making mandazis, who are making cakes, who are making buns. So it is not that bread is only going to be eaten. So people are moving into other products of wheat flour instead of just bread. And I think the cost of bread has really risen compared to the other food. So from what we were selling at 4 shillings a loaf of bread maybe in 1960-65, it is 45 shillings, 50 shillings. So you can see there's a lot of change in the pricing of the bread, and I'm sure a lot of people can't afford it. So what has happened is that people who used to buy a 400 gram loaf or a 500 gram loaf before, they are now only buying 200 gram loaf because they can't afford it. So that way, that market has sort of stagnated quite a bit.
Shelf visibility in supermarkets and kiosks in every corner of the estate is one of the major distribution channels for bread. With this comes a high logistical cost, which is not only labor intensive but also prone to erratic international crude prices.
The greatest cost we are actually seeing is more to do with transportation of the bread, because for us, of course, we are only located in one place, in Thika. All our production is Thika. But we have a distribution network which runs to about 150 miles radius from Thika. We go as far as Meru, we go to Nakuru, we go to Nyahururu, we go to Machakos, Kitui. Now, those distribution costs, transport costs are really taking a toll into our profits, because we need to supply the bread. Whether it is 20 crates, 30 crates, 40 crates, we need to supply. And that is where, to us, I think transport cost and power, these are major problems which we are seeing is really things we really need to look into. And of course, packaging. We are seeing that there is a lot of now cost element on packaging of the bread. Unfortunately, we are the only company, or maybe one of the companies, where we are still using the wax-coated paper, which has been our tradition. And people take Broadway's bread with wax-coated paper. But expensive it is, but it is definitely very environmental friendly. And we of course have a full unit of making that packaging unit, so that at least we can control on the cost of the packaging.
To help trim its operational costs, Broadway plans to raise about $400 million in 2014 for expansion. The preferred location of the new bakery is at least 300 kilometers from its headquarters in order to reach new markets, including Uganda. The next growth phase for the family business is going public.
I think we will now need to get out of this family business and bring in investors from outside, whether it's going to be a public company or something, which we in the family, we have been trying to think about and get into terms to say that we need people from outside to help us out with the finance.
For Bimal, besides putting in a fair share of hard work, putting working family members on a constant salary is one of the first steps of running professionally.
I think main thing is discipline. Discipline at work is the most important thing. And no doubt, I mean, I am the MD of this institution, but we still come to work here 7 days a week still, because this is the way we have been brought up. I think for any entrepreneur, if you really want to grow, you must make sure that you put in the hard work. Unfortunately, people put in hard work for 2 years, they make a lot of money, and then they still think about good cars, good homes, joining golf clubs, this and this. For us, I think that would come later on, but we really need to put discipline in work, discipline in staff, and if you're working 7 days a week, continue working 7 days. You can always have rest, half day here and there, be with the family, but discipline at work is most important, and main thing is looking after your finance.